Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Even and Wings podcast, a podcast about border grassroots rugby. We've got another special guest here today, but before I get to him, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe, and also please leave your comments. All right, so without further ado, our guest today is Xhanti Msauli from the Xhanti Msauli Foundation. You might also know the Mdantsane Hurricanes, and they are responsible for that. Hi, Xhanti. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Ivan. Glad to be here. Hi to viewers, everyone tuning in.
Let's start a little bit with the background. Why was the foundation started? When did it start?
Okay, Ivan, it started in 2015 when I relocated back to Mdantsane after my father passed away. So with the unemployment rate being high, I started going to watch rugby games because I went to George High School. I was a captain of the first rugby team and first cricket team. So I thought, what can I do to give back to these youngsters so that they can have the experience that most people don't get? Because remember, Mdantsane is a disadvantaged area, and you hardly get so many guys making the border squads because of the level of rugby that our schools play. So my initiative was to get these guys to be playing a more organized form of playing rugby. And also they were not practicing. It was just going out there and just playing matches. So that was also something that I had in mind to say, okay, we must practice at least 3 times a day with these guys. So that's what I put in when I opened the foundation. And I saw a need that these guys cannot be playing alone here in the townships. They need to experience different levels and forms of rugby, like the sevens and your 15-man rugby. So I started with playing at under 13 level. I started under 13. We played George Randall High School twice. And from there, it picked up. We then played all the former so-called Model schools like Grant, Sterling, Hudson, Selborne, and we involved ourselves in the Friends Festival, which is now called Oscars. Um, so we basically play your Selborne, Hudson, Cambridge on a yearly basis. So that was my idea of quickening the development process. Hence, we have so many boys that we have developed and exposed to the bigger schools. They got scholarships from those certain schools from East London up until Joburg, JP High School and Bloemfontein. So yeah, we have never, ever since then, we have now picked up and we're getting more and more players coming in that are interested in rugby. Because the problem is, Ivan, that in township schools, you don't get sport anymore. It's always about schools, especially if you're in matric. If you're in matric, you're supposed to be at the peak of your rugby career or sporting career. So now these guys from under 16 level, then you get to under 17 and under 19, then it's very hard to get them because they're always in school. Because schools in the townships, they're now focusing on getting a 100% matric pass rate, which is what we are trying to speak to the stakeholders to say that, these guys, they come out of matric, doesn't have money to go university, but he was a good rugby player. There's opportunities that a guy can get a scholarship from sport. So now if they don't play sport at matric level, then they get out there and then they don't have money to go to university. So now they stay out there and do nothing. With the rugby nowadays, a 2-year gap it's a huge gap for you to come back and say after matric you now want to get back into rugby. Because after matric there's an under 21 border. There's also chances for under 21.
Tell me, Xhanti, what I've noticed to all the places that I visited is rugby generally, also especially in the rural areas, they only started in high school. Why is that?
It's mainly because everything is not the teachers are the ones responsible for the sport. And now the teachers are very busy to be after school going to the practice sessions and stuff like that. But you find that the same teachers have children that go to your former Model C schools, that they leave school early to go watch them play sport, but also neglecting the sport at their school, because most of these schools say if there's no parent present at a sporting event, then they're going to be charged a fine, because the children need to be seen playing by the parents, which is what we didn't have growing up, which is what we are trying to instill in these guys. But now you find that, the schools don't want people from the outside, which is the best possible way to revive rugby in Mdantsane townships or any townships, is to actually outsource the sport to outside coaches. Let the teachers do their work during school time, and after school, they must release the kids to the outside outsourced coaches. So, which is what we are trying to work on now. Because in Mdantsane, rugby is dead. We don't even have a school league. And Mdantsane is like the third or second biggest township in South Africa. But we have no grounds because we are NPOs, non-profit organizations working to develop our communities, but we don't get access. The schools don't give us access to try and help them.
What is the reason for doing that?
I'll say mainly the extra classes, the matric results, because now from grade 10, you get students getting Saturday classes, extra classes on a daily basis. So now they even threaten them to say that if you don't come to class, we will expel you from this school. And they even engage with the parents that, the school is the most important. But not having the information that if your kid is good at rugby or netball or whatever sport, he or she has a chance to get from the scouts from universities. But that is not the situation here in Mdantsane. Even our facilities in Mdantsane, we don't even have a cricket ground anymore. Even our rugby stadiums still needs to be fixed. We don't have stands, we don't have lights, we don't have toilets. The only way that you can, for instance, when we hosted a school from London last year, we had to take Sisa to Kashe, which has locked changing rooms and stands and all of that. So I think it's mainly the people that are responsible for community development that are absorbed by the different sporting departments. I think they are failing us because it's a matter of, if I'm at the government sports office, then I only attend to my area. I am not going all around and seeing who needs what we can do. So it's all about, I'm from this area, so I'm only going to service my area. So I appear as a person that's working only in your area, but they don't check all areas, what is needed, what needs to be done. And the only thing that needs to be done, Ivan, is that they should outsource sports to NPOs, because we are on the ground. We work with these kids day in, day out. So if there was a thing, I think 5 years ago, that the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture will identify NPOs working within our communities, and what they will do, they will fund those NPOs, and those NPOs will be liable for sport in that area, buying equipment, making sure all the sporting codes have everything they need. But till this day, that never materialized. And I think it was a good point, but it never got off the ground.
So where are you guys actually, where do you practice, and how far do people need to travel? Because a lot of time, because Mdantsane is big, I mean, I think it's pretty much the same size as East London.
We train at the NU1 Rugby Stadium, where Swallows rugby team play their home matches. We have kids from NU1 to NU18 going to Newlands, which is Nahun in rural areas, all the way up until King Williamstown and Alice. Because most developments could not be consistent in playing these teams, which I've mentioned, these high schools like Hudson, and we have been consistent for like 9 years. This is our 9th year doing this. So now the kids see the opportunities that other kids get, and they're willing to travel from Alice to Mdantsane to come practice. We normally cater for them by having weekend sessions. For example, if we're playing on a Saturday, then on a Friday, they'll come for practice, and I would host them at my house. And then after they finish playing the matches, then they'll go back home. So it's not only kids from East London and Mdantsane, it's King Williamstown, it's Alice. I've even received a request from guys from Umtata, Durban, all of those stuff, because they can see that when we report on our Facebook page that the kids are actually getting the opportunities that they deserve.
Wow, that's that's quite impressive. So,
Yeah.
how many kids have you got in total, and how many teams?
We have, it seasonally changes. For instance, this year we had under 13, 14, 15, 16, and 19. Sometimes we have 3 teams under 15, 16, and 19, and under 21 teams. We currently have 4 provincial players in under 21 now, which is the guys that are started from under 15. They are now 21. So one is at Southwest District. He's actually the captain of the under 21 team there. And he comes from Mdantsane. He comes from Mdantsane Hurricanes. He actually got a scholarship to Port Rex from Zomhle High School. And he lives in informal settlement. But now, currently, he's the captain of the Southwest District under 21 team. And I have 4 other players under 21 team. They also started with us from a very young age, and we carried them through until they made the board under 21 team. And I always maintain that if you come from our development, you cannot now go and play Sunday League, or we actually want you to go through and play Super League, which is I have a lot of guys that come from me that are playing Super League right now, which gives them the chance to be absorbed by the board under 21 team.
We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. My question was about what needs to be done to keep, to take border rugby to the next level in terms of grassroots. Because you spoke about outsourcing the rugby to the NPOs at the schools in places like Mdantsane and the townships. What else do you think can be done to take rugby to the next level in border?
I would like to see us having a high performance center. Even border doesn't have a high performance center. I mean, we're struggling with the kids that come from your Selborne, your likes of Jared Taylor, and these guys that are taken by Western Province and those provinces at matric. So after they finish matric, they've got contracts with the Lions, with the Sharks. I mean, we have so much depth, but it's just that we are only looking at the league, the schools that play your T1 rugby, not looking at your rural areas, kids that we can develop into future border bulldogs players, So the thing is that we have your Craven Week, and all those most of the players that are Craven Week, most definitely they are taken by bigger unions. Even now, your border under 21 now has players that are based here. I mean, players from rural areas, players from townships, players from East London. I think if we can focus on having a solid team that we can groom for the next 3 years, or by virtue of performance. For instance, the under 21 team now is the same team that was born under 21, under 20 last year, or for the past 2 years. and now it's their last year, they're 21. If you can absorb that under 21 team, they've been through to the finals. They just lost on the finals every year. If you can absorb those squad of players and have a high performance center and have funding to keep those players there, give them some stipend, and then work with those players for the next 2 years, we might have a different border performance than we actually have now, because now we're dependent on talent that's already there. But if we can groom our own talent from the border under 21 or under 18 structures and actually keep those guys for the next 4 or 5 years, I mean, we could have a competitive border senior team.
Tell me about funding. How have you been able to keep the foundation and Mdantsane Hurricanes going for all these years, and how does it work with the funding?
I will tell you the honest truth. Most developments or sports developments that are now obsolete, it's because I asked for money for transport from you or from equipment, Ivan. And then when you give me the money, and then I see my own personal things that need to be done without putting the money into what it's supposed to go to. And then it fails because now it has been looked at as someone that's only taking care of his personal responsibilities. But what we have maintained throughout is that if we need transport to Queenstown, we'll give you the quotation, you pay the quotation, you just give us proof of payment. So we actually start with what we wanted. And then if there's anything left, then that could go to something else. But that's the biggest problem people make is that you want funding for 20,000, you take the 20,000, you pay towards your car installment, you buy groceries for your house, you pay electricity. But because this is passion for me, even if my situation is bad at home, if I said to you I want transport to Queen Williamstown, then that's what exactly I must do. So that you keep the children happy, because the children talk. They know you're getting sponsorship from somewhere, but now you're giving all that away to your family. It's not even going to what it's supposed to go to. So we normally say, if you want 15,000 for transport, please deal with a service provider, and then you just give us the proof of payment, which has worked consistently for 9 years. If I was greedy for money, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be talking to you right now, Ivan. And all those kids that have made it to those schools, to those border teams, to those Southwest District teams, they wouldn't be here right now. So it's all about the passion and what you as an individual want for your community.
So for the viewers, how can they get in contact with you? How can they follow you, see what's going on with the Mdantsane Hurricanes and the foundation?
Okay, we have a Facebook page where we document everything. It's Xhanti Msauli Foundation on Facebook. And also our email account is xhantimsaulifoundation@gmail.com. They can get through to me on my cell, 066 036 7270 or 072 964 3669.
And I will be leaving all of those details in the description and links to the Facebook page as well for people to contact Xhanti and and the foundation. Yeah, so on that note, I want to say thank you very much. This has been a really interesting conversation.
Thank you, Ivan, and thank you for having me. Thank you for looking for me and being part of your podcast. Hopefully this will, get the required sponsorship our way so that more kids can benefit from this development that we're doing.
It wouldn't be the Even and Wings podcast without Coach Wings here. Unfortunately, Coach Wings had a bit of an emergency earlier and he couldn't join us for the Xhanti Msauli interview. But here he is. Uncle, how's it going?
What's happening, Yvonne? How's it going in the Netherlands, bro? What's the weather like?
No, bro, things are going fine. Yeah, the weather is actually pretty good now, but things are starting to cool down. I think only 3 months of the year you get temperatures of above 20 C. So things are going to start dipping soon. Not looking forward to the winter.
Lekker, bro. And when are you starting rugby season?
Yeah, so the rugby season is basically starting now. Training started, I think, 2 or so weeks ago. I'm not training at the moment. I got an issue with my knee, but we did organize a type of a bring and braai yesterday at the club. We were doing it on gas, unfortunately, but we had a few South Africans there, and a lot of people from the club were just trying to get under my skin wearing all black shirts. So at the end of the match, I just wound them up, running around. Just shouting, "Go Bokke!" Yeah, it was
What
all a
were they
bit fun.
supporting the All Black?
Yeah, but a lot of them do it just to piss me off.
Yeah, but then you should have said to them, how do you braai a Kiwi?
And then
And then you say to them, 40 minutes aside. Got
I'm
that one
so
from my
happy.
captain. My rugby captain here at Ooskus, he said to me in his Afrikaans accent, "Sir, how do you braai a Kiwi?" Then I said to him, how? And he said, 40 minutes aside.
No, that's lekker.
Legends.
So, yeah, so anyways, let's chat.
Did you see this one? Did you see this one? There was a poster up when the All Blacks played South Africa, and they said the only thing that's faster than Cheslin Colby is a debit order that comes off at the end of the month.
Coach Wings, let's chat a little bit about the Springbok game. Biggest thing from this weekend is the Freedom Cup. We haven't had our hands on that thing since, I think, 2009.
Yeah, Scott Berger said it. Yeah, it's been a while, eh?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I mean, you almost feel like guilty that the All Blacks are losing now for the fourth time against the Springboks, because you're so used to them being the dominant team, is you almost feel guilty like taking that spot. But the truth is, we are now at that spot, and we need to own it.
I almost get that feeling, the same feeling as you. Like you almost feel bad for the All Blacks that they're not dominating. It's weird, but we're the ones that are dominating. We got to embrace it and enjoy it, eh? Because what goes up must come down.
Yeah, thoughts on the match? I mean, it was a pretty scrappy match. I didn't think it was a good match. Quite a lot of errors, unforced errors. I know we're trying to play a little bit more, and that's, I think, partly because of how the way the rules are changing, and also, also the way that they're reffing the things. I think we have to go that way. But bro, we've got, as you know, we've got such a big player base, and we've got guys with a lot of skills. Obviously, in the past, the coach has always gone for the big guys, as one guy said, kind of often blunt objects. But we definitely do have the players if you want to play that way. It might take a while, but yeah, we managed to put it through in the end. What do you think about it, and which players stood out for you?
Yeah, it wasn't a great game, eh? It wasn't a great game of rugby. It's pretty scrappy, eh? If you think of it, and lots of points left out there. Lots of points left out there by the New Zealand team. Lots of points left out there by the Boks, definitely. I think we could have definitely have taken our points. I think, it was a bit too close for comfort at the end there. But if you want to talk about a standout, something that stands out is the Bok defense. Definitely, the Bok defense is amazing right now. The scramble defense, great. Players that stood out for me, yeah, there were a number of them. Obviously, when Marks came on again, what a massive impact he made. Damian Dalandy getting man of the match. He played a really good game. Back to his old self, direct, really strong in the carries. Sia Khaleesi had a big first half. Yeah, I thought Ox played a brilliant game as well. I thought Ox had a very good game. Your usual guys, yeah, it was nice to see different dynamic there with Villy and Pollard in the back line. different dynamic with them. I thought Pollard actually played a really good game, brilliant defensively. With this Bok team, you can never single out a guy.
Yeah, man, I think Damien Delindi, or Doogs, as he's known, played a really good game, and he was kind of playing the way he used to play in the past, because he used to always do this kind of a step shift, and kind of be a little bit elusive. But obviously with the Springboks, the last couple of years, he's just been told to run straight. But that evasive running, and he can actually pass the ball really well. At least that's I mean, you can see it, but also all of the other players that played with him just always say how amazing he can actually pass. So yeah, that was quite interesting to see. I think Caden Moody didn't play well. He mistimed a lot of a lot of stuff. But Sasha, when he came on, he seemed a little bit injured. He made a few mistakes, but he also did some great things again, bro, breaking through. So I really think, I don't want to blow up his tires too much, but he definitely has a potential to be a really great flyer for the Springboks for many years. He seems to have all of the skills necessary. He can break the line. He's quick as well. Like last week when they were chasing down the who was it? Not Bowden Barrett. Geordie. Yeah, sorry. Running down Geordie, and you could see he was right there on his heels. And yeah, maybe the last thing we'll chat to. We don't want to get too deep into the analysis here, but fullback. What's your opinion about fullback? Because Billy, he also had an article game. People there in the club was saying, I mean, he's pretty old already. I think he's around 35. People at the club was saying, no, his days are over, whatever. And then we had Fussy. We know also he's, he's good, but he also has got, yeah, I would say still some weakness in his game. And it's not someone who you can yet say, like, yeah, he's definitely the man. Is Willemse going to be the fullback going forward?
Yeah, I think Fussy's shown a lot of promise. I think it's just one of those headaches, nice headaches to have, because then you've got Fussy, Philly, and Willemse. So those guys will just bang it out. And I think, like, I don't know, Villy's just so solid at the back. People can say whatever they want about Villy, but he's a really good communicator. And he's actually got this great synergy with Pollard. They like to play together, and they get the back line going. I don't know. I just think that obviously Fussy and Willemse are the new ones, the new guys coming in. But it's nice to have Villy around.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Where would you go?
I would go Willemse. I mean, I would keep developing Fussy and Willemse, but I would phase Villy out. I mean, I don't. He's not going to make the next World Cup. I mean, I don't think there's a chance of that. Anyways, Coach Wings, I think we'll end it off there for today. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Cheerio.